Hey guys, this is JDogter, and welcome to another Minecraft video. In this one, I'm going to be showing you this data pack that I've created, which will allow you to make custom structures that can naturally spawn throughout your Minecraft worlds. You can take any build that you want and use this data pack to tell it what dimension you want it to spawn in. It can be biome specific. There's all kinds of things you can do with this, and I'm gonna show you in this video how it works. So I'm here in a brand new Minecraft world that I literally just created, and I've installed this data pack, and if we look around already we see a structure right here that I created that spawned here. We've got a floating rock here. And if we fly around we should start to see a couple more structures. There's another one of those. Here's a little well that I've created that has showed up on the side of this hill here. There's some drowned in there. There's some underground structures. If I go into spectator right here, we should start to see somewhere. There might be... here we go. Here's a little evoker like dungeon here with like an enchanting table. Not entirely sure, but there might be some other things around here. Let's go this way and see what we can find. There's another ruins over here. They are a lot more common in plains because I can say with this data pack how often I want them to spawn, and I can make them spawn more often in other biomes. So like there was a ruins over there, and they'll show up in plains a lot more. But then there's other ones that will just spawn in any biome. But the thing that's really good about this data pack is it's fully customizable. Here's another ruins. Here's a little like wither monument that I made that has spawned into a cave here. But it's like a little wither monument with these skulls around here. It spawned like in the cave there. And here's another ruins. And here's another one over here. So yeah, this is just a fun little data pack that I've been working on for quite a while, so I'm super proud of it. So in this video, I'm going to show you... Shut up. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to create your own structures, how to get them to spawn in your world, how to customize it to what you want. This is a bit of an advanced tutorial, so if you don't know how data packs work, then you're probably going to be pretty confused. But it shouldn't be too bad. I'll try to explain everything as well as I can, but it would help to have at least a basic knowledge of data packs. You'll also probably need to know how to use structure blocks, because otherwise this will not make sense at all. If you don't know how to use structure blocks, I will probably have a tutorial out for that soon. Or you can go find another video or something, but they shouldn't be too difficult though. I'll cover them briefly, but let's get to it. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is go into the description of this video, and it'll take you to this MediaFire link, and you're going to download this .zip file, which has the data pack in it. So I'm going to let that download, and then we'll click it here. Alright, so this is the file, and so what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to unzip this .zip file. So let's extract all. Let's put this on the desktop for now. Alright, so once you unzip that, you should get these 4 files in the .zip file. So we've got a structure pack base. So how this data pack works is we have the structure generator.zip, which is... this is what causes the structures to show up in your world, but it doesn't have any actual builds inside of this file. The structure packs is a separate file where you put your builds and the conditions for them and everything, and they work together to spawn the structures. So this is what you'll use as like the brains of the operation, but then this is all the structures. So it's a structure pack is what I'm calling them for now. So I have my ruins pack that I've made. It's got like 6 like fun little structures in it that you probably saw at the beginning. Just as just to get an idea, and you can look at it and see like examples of what to do. And then we have instructions on how to do that. This video is going to cover everything that this says, but you could try to figure it out by just reading that if you wanted to. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to hop into Minecraft here, and I'm in my test world right here, and we have this house that I built, and we're going to turn this into a structure that will generate throughout a world. You might obviously want to go for something a little bit more complicated, like a dungeon or like some castle or something with mobs and spawners and treasure and stuff. But I'm just going to use this as an example. So first thing you'll notice is it's kind of tall. You want to have a pretty like solid foundation that's kind of goes down a little bit, so that if like this spawns like on the side of like a sloped hill or something, it won't just be flat. You want a little bit of ground so that it'll look like it's like still in the floor. If we imagine that this is the surface right here, and we want the blocks to be right here, but then it's like on a hill or something like that, we'd want to have some foundation for this to sit on the ground. So I'm gonna assume you know how to use structure blocks. If you don't, then I'll probably have a tutorial out soon. So we can use the corner blocks, and then like name our structure. Let's call this tutorial house. Done, and then we can do the other corner. I prefer to actually just go straight to the save right here, and then just put in the structure size. I just find it easier, but if you want to do the corners, that's fine too. So let's call this tutorial house. Let's make the structure size, I believe it was 11 by 14 by 11. So we hit detect, and we also want to change the relative position, so blah 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 blah. Yeah, it was 11 by 11, but it was 13. Okay. So you just need to figure out the size of your house, and then put the whole thing, put it in the box. Just figure out the size, and we've selected the whole house. Alright, so the next step for setting this up as a structure, before we actually save it as a structure file in our Minecraft world, we're going to want to fill all the air blocks inside this selection with structure void blocks. So let me give myself one of those. Now the reason you'll want to do this is because when you save a structure with a structure block, it's going to also copy the air blocks, which if we like were to put this in a Minecraft world, wherever there's like air right here, so like let's say like there was already like a hill right here and there's blocks going inside the box, since we have saved also the air blocks, these blocks would get deleted, which we don't want for our structures, because like if we have like a tower or something, we don't want it to have like a big square out of the ground. So what you want to do is take structure voids and fill all the air blocks with these. You can see the hitbox right here. These are the structure voids. And that will basically just tell the structure block to ignore the air blocks and just keep whatever hill or whatever was there previously, but then the blocks that we're actually copying will stay put. So we basically just want to do that to our house here. So I'm going to go /fill, and then we can just tab 3 times to get those coordinates. And then we're going to go fill with structure void, replace air. And so now if we go to the structure block, you can also show invisible blocks, so we can turn this on. And this will show us what's going on here. So we have blue is just air blocks, and then red is structure void. We want it to all be red. However, the inside here, we don't want this to spawn like in a forest and then have parts of a tree inside this house. So I'm going to fill poop here to like here. We're gonna fill air, replace structure void. So now it's all blue on the inside because it's air blocks, so the inside will stay air. So if it's blue, it just means it's going to copy the air blocks. If it's red, it means it's going to keep whatever was there before the structure was placed. The other option we will want to turn on is include entities. We're going to turn that to on. So like, let's say you had like mobs that you want in your dungeon, or just a random pet or something that is in your house. You want sorry, you want the entities that are in there, like let's say you placed a bunch of skeletons and stuff, you want them to also be saved into the structure. But if you don't actually care, you don't need to touch that. But if there's mobs that are in the structure that you want to keep, that will spawn with it, just make sure to turn on include entities. So now the last thing we're going to do is just hit save, and we have now saved this house as a structure. Now before we do anything else, we're going to grab another structure block, and we are going to prepare this structure block as if we were about to place this house down. So what you're going to want to do is, so if we just start this, I'm going to do a load structure block. We're going to put in the name of our house, and we're going to hit load. So now we have the bounding box, and it's almost ready to spawn. So of course we don't want it to just spawn right on top of this block. What you're going to want to do is place it where the structure block will be basically in the center, because we want the structure to actually delete the structure block in its place. So if we actually just place this down right now, this obviously, we don't want it right in the air like this, and we still have the structure block here, which we don't want. So I'm just going to copy this back over to here. So what we're going to want to do is place this as much in the center as we can, or like basically just somewhere where a block will delete it. Now I'm imagining the ground is going to be basically right here, so there's a bit of a jump up. We could have it up here if we want. So what we're going to want to do is place the ground level at the same level that this structure block is. So right now this is one block above it. So then what we're going to want to do is go like 1. So this is 0 right here because this is 1. So then it'll be -1 right here. So 1 block down, 2 blocks down, and then 3 blocks down, and that'll work. So when we place it down, that's where it'll be. So if we did that here, I'm just going to copy that. So if we went -3 and done, you can see now it's in the ground, and we hit load. Now it's actually in the ground, which is what we want. But the structure block is still here. So let's place this back down again over here. So we're going to go -3, and then we want to place the structure block in basically the center. Now this was this was 11 by 11, so I'm going to go -5 by -5, and this should be roughly in the center of the box. All right. Now I'm just gonna load it to show you that that's how it works. And as you can see, it looks good, and there is no structure block there anymore, and it has worked. Now, our pig is not here, but we don't need to worry about if your animals aren't showing up, it's because you didn't check include entities, but we don't actually need to worry about that because the structure, because the data pack will do it for you. So we have this prepared, and if we clicked load, it'd be ready to place down. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go /data get block, and we're going to make sure we're looking at the structure block. We're going to tab all these so that we can see the NBT data right here. We don't need to pay attention to anything except position X. So we're going to go position X colon -5, because that's what it shows in here. Then position Y and position Z. So position Y, position Z, -5. Make sure you put in, make sure you put in commas as well. I'm going to copy this. So you could either copy it like this or just remember what these numbers were. So it's the relative position, so we need to make sure it's in the center and then save the numbers that we had. And now it's time to actually get this into our data pack. So let's start up on that. So back to the stuff that we got in the data pack. We have the structure generator.zip and we have a structure pack base. So to start a structure pack, I'm going to copy this and create a new one so that you can always keep this as a backup if you want to make more. So this is our structure based copy. I'm going to rename this to my house pack for now. So if we go in here, we have data and pack.mc meta. This is just a typical data pack if you know how those work. So then we have structures is the namespace for this. So this is just the name of the data pack, what Minecraft can look at this is. So we have functions, loot tables, and structures. We're going to go into functions here and in generate. So if we come in here, we have 3 files here. We have structure types, and structure types nether. This is so that you can make your structure spawn in separate dimensions. So if you had like an end tower or something that you wanted to spawn, or like a nether hut or something, I don't know. So we have separate files for each of these. So I'm just going to go in the overworld. But these files are what tell the data pack what the structure is. So let's go into structure types.mc function. You'll need some way to edit text. So now that we're in here, we have these 3 commands right here. Each structure uses all 3 of these commands. So it says right here we can copy and paste these 3 things. So we're going to copy, and then if we want to add a new structure, we just paste another line of these. So then we have to remove the hashtags, because the hashtags just, if there's a hashtag at the beginning of it, it will turn the command into a comment, so that it doesn't actually do anything. It's just there for you to read in the file. Alright, so we have structure ID right here. So you don't need to touch anything else here except structure ID, and then in a minute, one more thing we gotta look at in a second. So we have structure ID. So this is important. Each structure that you create will have a unique number that you can assign to it. Now, it can be any number from like 1 to whatever. But the big thing is it needs to have a number that you refer to this structure as. So I'm going to set this structure as 2. So the data pack is going to look at our house and it's going to read it as 2. So we're giving each of our structures a unique ID. So like if we were going to add another structure, so if we wanted to add another structure, we could copy these again, and then, then we can come back down here and then paste another one and then make this one 3 because it's a different structure. So we could do that if we wanted. I'm just going to stick to 2 though. Alright, so 2 is our structure ID. We're going to need to remember that too. So basically when you're creating your structure, you want to have the name of your structure, which I have tutorial house, and then the ID of your structure. So now we have the ID in here. So I'm going to quickly talk about what these commands do so that we know how to edit it. So when we're summoning a structure, basically what we're doing is we're summoning an armor stand that's going to basically just be put in the world, and then it's going to like move around a little bit until it finds the spot that it wants, which is on a Minecraft surface, which is like dirt or grass or stone and stuff like that, but like it's so that it won't spawn in like trees because it can't stand on a leaf. So like if it's not on the surface, it'll just move around a little more. So then what's gonna do is it's gonna say, am I on the surface? Like am I in grass or something? Then we're going to add this tag, which will trigger the rest of this stuff. So then the next command, so then you can actually change these to whatever you want. So you can say if the block underneath is sand, so you can have it only spawn on sand. So if we change this to hashtag Minecraft surface, we can go just Minecraft sand, make sure to get rid of the hashtag. The hashtag makes it so that's like more than one block in the data pack. You don't need to worry about how that works. But like if we wanted it to spawn on sand and not just any surface block, we could do that. But if you wanted to spawn, like just let the data pack take care of it, just make sure it's surface. Then the second command here is what will actually place the structure block. So this is where the position saving that we got earlier comes into play. So in between these brackets here, these arrows, we're going to delete all of this, or you could just, whoops, or you could just delete the position here things and the question marks and put in the numbers that you saved earlier. But I find it easier to do the /data thing and then just copy everything we just did. So we could put in -5 and -3, -5, or we could just copy and paste what we did earlier. So I can go Control V, whoops. Oh, I copied that, whoops. But yeah, we copied that earlier in Minecraft, so we can just paste that in if we wanted to do that too. So at the end, you want to have this right here exactly as it is typed out, but then the numbers to whatever you adjusted it to be. But you just want it to be like position X, colon, and then whatever you did earlier. Mode load, we want to keep that. So this is why we don't need to worry about the entities, because it's just automatically by default keep the entities in it. So next we're going to put in the structure name, which was tutorial house. And now we have put the structure in the system to be recognized as a number. So we're going to go save, and now we are out of here. So that's the structure types, and then this end and nether are exactly the same, it just works in a different dimension. Alright, so now we're going to come out of generate and functions, and now we have loot tables and structures. So let's go to loot tables next, and then structure type, and this is again structure type and then nether and end. So if we come into structure type JSON here, these are loot tables, which if you don't know what this is, it's basically the code that tells Minecraft how loot works for like dungeons and stuff, like what items it picks and how random they are and the rarity of them and the conditions for them. My system uses this to generate the structures randomly by using loot tables. So when you open this, by default there's just one thing right here. So we have these square brackets right here, and then inside it we have these, which is one structure right here. This will spawn one structure. However, this is count one. We'll get to that in a minute. Alright, so there's this other file here, which is structure settings template, and if we come in here, this has some stuff you can copy to start your structure. So if you want to add a new structure, let's copy all of this, Control C, and then structure type. So inside these square brackets right here, so it's here and here, we have one of these right here. So we're going to put a comma to separate it and then add another object here. Alright, so then we have weight and count. So count, we have structure ID number here. That ID that we picked earlier, which was 2, that's where we want to put this. This is what will take the number. So what it will do is, using this loot table, it's going to pick one of these random numbers, and when it picks 2 right here, it's going to go to that other file that we said, oh, 2 means the tutorial house. So this is what tells it to pick 2 sometimes. Then the weight is how often it's going to pick 2. So as it stands when you first get this data pack, we have one right here that's the count 1, so the ID is 1. It's not actually linked to any structure. This 1, every time it picks the number 1, it's not going to spawn anything, so you can actually control how many times it's going to pick nothing, so you can actually have structures spawn not as frequent. So with the weight number, it's going to be it's going to pick which one over the other. So let's say we said a weight of 2 over here, and then like a weight of 3 over here. So it'll pick. So what's going to do is it's going to take the weight numbers. So this one is 2, this one's 3, and this one's 2, and it's going to add them up. So 3 and 2 is 5. So it's 5 overall, but 3 out of the 5 times it's going to pick 1, and 2 out of the 5 times it's going to pick 2. So then you can control it even more. So like you could say like you can make this number 7. So and then we could make this 1. So 1 out of 8 times it's going to pick 2. And then you can just control how often the structure will spawn very easily that way. So I'm gonna go like 3, so like 3 nothing, and then like, let's make it like every time it's going to try to pick a structure to spawn, 5 times it's going to be like, don't spawn anything, and then 1 time it will say, yes, do that. So that's going to be how often it will spawn. So that will just make it spawn throughout the Minecraft world. But let's say you wanted it to only spawn in a specific biome. Like let's say we only wanted this house to spawn in the swamp for some reason. You can copy this for biome specific. So we're going to copy all of this stuff right here. We're going to go Control C, then come back into here. We're going to go right after the weight, and we're going to push Enter to make a new line, and then Control V right here. Now we have our conditions, and then it's going to check the location, and then here we're going to put what biome we want it to spawn in, right here. Let's make this spawn in a plains biome. You do want to check, if we come back into Minecraft, if you want to check what biome it is and exactly what the name of it is, you can push F3, and then the line right here where it says biome, you want exactly what that says. So right here in this world it says Minecraft Plains, and you want it spelled out exactly like that. So like if there was like sunflower plains, it would be sunflower underscore plains. You don't want sun underscore flower underscore plain. You actually want to check what the name of the biome is. So we'll put that in this biome thing right here, and we have Minecraft Plains. And then what you should be able to do is, if you wanted to like say, hey, I want it to also spawn in this other biome, so you have like more than one biome it spawns in, we can copy this, which is another line. It's basically the exact same thing, but then we place it right before this bracket right here. We put comma, and then paste it in right there, and then put in a second biome. I'm just gonna have it spawn in plains. So yeah, that'll work. Now we can go save. All right, let's come back into here. All right, we've done all the hard stuff. So I'm just gonna quick recap. So to add our structure, we go into the functions and the generate, and whatever dimension we want, we go in, copy these lines, paste it down here, and set our ID number and the name of the structure. And then we use the loot table to put in the ID and the chances of it spawning. Then the last thing we do is we have this file, which is structures. This is where we actually put the build that we saved. So if we go to our .minecraft folder and to saves, this is where all of our Minecraft worlds are, and we have my test world right here. We're going to go into generate, and then, or generated. You're going to go into your Minecraft world, which is testing stuff 3 for me, and then you're going to go into the generated folder, and then you'll have Minecraft structures, and inside here you should see the structure we saved, which is tutorial house right here. So if we copy this with Control C, and then we come back to our structure folder, then we put it, so then we're back here, we go structures and paste it in. That's it. So now we have the file in here that will tell it what structure to use. Then we have this to tell it the number of the structure, and then this is where the actual build goes. So now our house structure pack is done. So now we can copy this and our structure generator.zip, and we are going to copy these or cut, doesn't matter. We can take this and we're going to put it into our Minecraft world to have our structure spawn. So I'm going to create a brand new world right here. Alright, so we're in our new world. Now we're going to come into our saves file again and find the world I just created, and we're going to go into this data packs folder, and this is where you're going to put your pack. So you have the structure generator.zip, which actually makes them work, which you don't need to actually mess with. You just need this in your world. And then your house, my structure pack that we just created with whatever structures you want in there. So you can add as many structures as you want in this thing. Now, the world that we have, there isn't a plains really nearby, so I'm just going to change the biome that it spawns in to a taiga forest. Now, we can go /reload, and we should see a message pop up, structure generator by JDoctor loaded, and this means it's working. So I'm just going to check if using Datapack list enabled, and we have the structure generator and the house pack that we just created, so they are both in the world. Alright, now let me go reload again. So we have this message that popped up, and we can click here for the commands. There's a lot of stuff here, but I'm going to get through that in a minute. I'm just going to show you the couple things you need to know. So we have function, and then we have generator, and then that's all the commands. We don't need to worry about any of this. So these are all the commands you can do. So it's going to be function, generator, colon, and then whatever the commands are. So let's go generator settings. And this will pop up, and this is what we can control. So we have an option of density, or how rare we want the structures. So we can have like rare, where like a structure will appear like every so often. If I just clicked that, and now it's set to rare. So it'll just kind of show up like maybe once in a while. Then we have common, like you'll probably, if you're walking around, you'll see one. And then abundant, like they're like probably pretty close to you. Like you'll find them pretty much everywhere. Then we have clock speed. This is so that like if it's lagging too much on you and you need it to like slow down, you can slow it down a little bit. It really won't do too much difference. It'll just take a little longer to load the structures, but it will save on lag. I keep it at normal, and it's normal by default, so you can do that if you want. And then dimensional generation. You don't really need to worry about this, but this will just let it, you can pick either auto or manual. If it's auto and you run a command that will start the generation, it'll just automatically do the nether and the end structure generation without you needing to type the command again. But if you hit manual, you'll have to type it in a second time. So that's the settings. So I'm just going to set it to abundant just so we can find it for this tutorial. And I'm just going to keep the clock speed at normal. Now, when you're ready to actually spawn your structures, we will go function, generator, generate. And you'll hear a little sound, and structures have started generating. Now, if we look around, we should see one pop up soon. But if you just travel around, you should start to see structures just generating around your world. But let's see if we can find a house to show up. And here we go. Here is the house we created, and you can see it's spawned on its own without me actually building it in this world. So obviously, like it's kind of in a weird spot in, oh, that's weird. It's kind of in a weird spot in the forest, but you can see because we didn't put structure voids on the inside, there isn't like a tree growing in the middle of the inside. But you can see because we put the structure voids, we have like trees on the outside here, but like there wouldn't just be air here. So that's how you get that to work. And we have our house right here. And if we looked around a little bit more, we could probably find more. It took a little bit to find one because I made the chances a little too low, so I adjusted it a little bit. So if like it's not showing up as often as you want it to, just change the numbers a little bit and adjust it to what you need. And then you can also create as many structures in one pack as you want. The only thing is you can only have one structure pack loaded at a single time. So like, let's say you wanted to, I'm going to put in my, my ruins pack that I've made here that is included with the download. It's one that I've created that if you just want to have this just as a fun little thing, you can just throw this in your world. So if we come back into if we come to our hello world that I made, and then data packs, and then we put in the ruins pack. We have the house pack and the ruins pack. What we want to do is, let's go / reload because we changed data pack stuff. We're going to want to go data pack, disable my house pack if you want the other one to work. So you can only have one structure pack loaded at a single time. So if you want the ruins pack on, you'll have to turn off the house pack, and if you want the house pack on, you'll have to turn off everything else. You can only have one on at a time. So now that I've turned on the ruins pack, if we move around, we'll start to see those generate. So like they'll actually start generating automatically once you just load it up. You don't need to like change anything really in the actual pack. So if we actually come into the plains here, here we go. This is a little well that I created that's like kind of old and rusted. It's kind of spawned on the side of the hill here, which is why you want it to kind of have a bit of a foundation, which is why it goes down quite a bit so that it stays in the ground. We got some drowned in there just as a cool little thing. But yeah, you can do whatever you want with this. You can use it in your own data packs if you just make sure to include the structure generator pack in it, and then like in your data pack, just look at the file format that is in the structure pack and it should work. So that is that, and now let's get on to all the commands on the structure generator. So if we go /function generator help, it will list all of the commands here that you can do. Or if you went /reload to load up the data pack and then click here for help, it'll also bring it up. All right, so we've already been over generate, which will just start the generation. So we've done help. The settings we've already been over. Now there's /function generator status, and by the way, you can just click these green things if you want to, not just type it out. Status, that will literally just list out the options you've set. So right now it's set to abundant, and it's set to normal, and it's set to auto, just so you know what you've done. And then we can also do uninstall, and if you do that, it'll just remove like all the scoreboards and stuff that makes this thing work, so you can safely take the data pack out of your world without leaving stuff behind. I'm not going to do that right now, but you can just click that and it'll do it. Then we have generator protect. Now let's say you already had a like build or something in a Minecraft world. Like let's say you like built your cool epic base and you want the structure generator to work, but you don't want it to have like just like a dungeon just spawned in the middle of your house. You can go /protect, and then at your location it will set a marker, which if we actually go /function generator highlight, you can see it's placed a marker right there, and anything that's within like a 200 block radius of this whole area, it will not spawn any structures near this area. So it's a way to keep your area safe. And you can put as many of these as you want in your world. So I can like put one up here if I wanted, or like say you had like say you're on a big server or something and you want to keep like the big like shopping area or whatever, you want to keep it safe from structures, you can place these just kind of all around it, and it will stop it from spawning structures there. And then if you wanted to remove the markers, you can go unprotect. If you just do unprotect, it'll select the nearest one to you, and it'll be like, hey, do you want to delete this? And then you can hit yes, and then it'll clear it. But if you just want to get rid of all of them, you can go unprotect all, and it will just delete them all. And that should be it. Yeah, that should be it, and it's getting dark. So that is the structure generator data pack. Again, the download is in the description, and you can create your structures. If you have like structure packs that you want to create, that's fine too, and like you can send them to me. You can use this in whatever you want. I just really wanted to make this because I wanted to spawn my own structures, but I could not find a good one that did that for you, so I created this. If anything was confusing, you can ask me questions in the comments and I will try to answer them. Structure blocks have a size limit of a 32 cubed area, So only 32 blocks by 32 blocks by 32 blocks, so you can't go bigger than that. But I have found a workaround that actually, this YouTuber, Tyrus Wu, has a video on how you can make big structures. I'll link that in the description too. And then there's other advanced stuff that you can do too. Like one structure has like multiple different versions and stuff. If you want to see that, I could do that, but this is just a tutorial on how to set up a basic structure. So, yeah, so I hope this was helpful. If you're confused about anything, ask me questions in the comments. I will try to answer them and give feedback. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.